You were one of the first to talk about stargates. What are stargates?
Well, stargates, you can define a stargate on 3 levels. One, it's a connection from the heart of one sun or star to another star or star system. It's also a portal, a gateway from a star to a star system, and it's a place on Earth where the energy of a star or star system saturates the oil or the soil, making it a higher energy place. And then, of course, as you see in the movies, it's literally a portal or a gateway.
Yeah, it is that pathway. I've long suspected that if we're being visited by extraterrestrials, obviously they're not coming here conventionally, not the way that we are traveling right now. I've always thought they had the ability to bend space and time and go through, like the movie Contact, some kind of a wormhole or something.
Absolutely, and that's something, as many readers know, I'm deeply interested in the work of Zecharia Sitchin, and he would talk about the Anunnaki traveling the universe in tin can spaceships, but then he would show this incredible artwork showing these same God beings coming and going through gateways, and their artwork clearly showed that this was one of their modes of travel, at least the most super advanced guys.
Now, is it a gateway within our universe, or is it a connection to other universes?
Well, it's a connection from the Earth to other star systems and maybe even interdimensional travel as well. And in fact, according to the Sumerian scholars in the Chicago Assyrian Dictionary, the Nibiru, which is the name of the planet the Anunnaki came from, actually means a star, gate, or crossing place. So,
hundreds of people, if not thousands, disappear off this planet every day. They're gone. Nobody knows where they are.
Right.
Is it possible that they're walking along, they step into one of these portals, you can't see them, right? And they just vanish?
It's a possibility, but the thing that I get hung up on in answering a question most affirmatively about that is that, especially in the ancient stories about the stargates, whenever they would talk about humans going through the gates, there was always these really profound teachings about human transformation. An ordinary human couldn't go through the gate of the gods. They had to become more pure or perfect in order to do that. And that was kind of the point of the gods coming here.
We don't all have that key, do we?
Well, we have it, but we just haven't activated it. We all have the capability of raising ourselves to a higher level of vibration or transforming ourselves into the next level of human that's capable of doing this. But many of us just choose not to.
How many of these portals are there, do you think, on this planet?
Conservatively, there's a dozen. Beyond that, there's probably thousands. I mean, because actually it could be anywhere you are could conceivably be that portal, because in fact the human body itself is considered to be a portal or a gateway.
How do you learn how to travel through one?
Well, first of all,
That's not easy, is
No,
it?
it's not easy. But again, the question kind of goes back to what they want to know is how pure of a being are you? How pure-hearted are you? Because it seems like they don't want the riffraff out there in space. And that's kind of a bone of contention.
They're stuck here on this planet.
Yeah, we're here in cosmic kindergarten until we graduate to first grade. And that's maybe a bone I would have to pick with the writers of Stargate, for example, where they show them taking a nuclear missile through a Stargate.
Right.
In the real world, I don't think that's going to
happen.
No, the beings that guard these gates and maybe even created them wouldn't allow something like that to happen.
They'd shut it down right away.
They'd shut it down right away.
Iraq. There was some interest in why we went there. Obviously, we never found weapons of mass destruction. You believe that there's something else there?
Absolutely. I started watching or following the story of Saddam Hussein in the early 90s, after we first went into the Gulf, and I learned then that Saddam believed he was the reincarnation of the biblical King Nebuchadnezzar.
Right.
Huge
He
figure
even
of
had
prophecy.
a Nebuchadnezzar army, didn't he?
Absolutely did. He had paintings of himself as Nebuchadnezzar, and in fact he rebuilt Babylon in the 1980s to the tune of $500 million and had bricks that said to King Nebuchadnezzar in the reign of Saddam Hussein. So he was connecting himself with that figure. And so think about this. We have a major world figure who proclaims himself the reincarnation of a biblical king, not just any biblical king.
And believed it.
And believed it, right. But the biblical king who looted and leveled the Solomon's temple in Jerusalem was the last known person to have the Ark of the Covenant, perhaps, and he's proclaiming himself this figure. And this is why we had to stop him. And so what I started doing is following the art newspapers in the mid-90s, because remember those UN weapons inspectors?
Right.
They're going into Iraq, presumably doing nuclear work and that sort of thing. Looking everywhere. And they're coming out with their pockets loaded with ancient Iraqi artifacts and selling them on the black market. And so I took a huge interest in this because these little tiny lipstick-sized cylinder seals were one of the ways that the ancient Sumerians documented their connection with the gods, with the Anunnaki.
That's what Zechariah would study, right?
Absolutely. And they're in the museums all around the world. And what is in the open literature is just mind-boggling. Spaceship-looking things, technology. These are the real weapons of mass destruction I'm convinced Saddam actually possessed, because what he was trying to do was to create sort of a Disneyland for the Anunnaki in Baghdad. He wanted to bring tourists from all over the planet to learn about our connection with these ancient gods. And he rolls this knowledge out into Judeo-Christian culture. That's bad news, because it basically says that, wait a minute, the underpinnings of Western civilization are not as solid as we think. In fact, goes back thousands of years before that, and Saddam had the evidence. And so what do we do when we go into Baghdad in 2003?
Hit the museum.
We hit
right?
the museum right off the bat. Why? Because that's where a lot of the real goods were housed.
And most of that stuff they never got back.
No, they never got it back. And it makes you wonder, if this is what they're showing in the open literature, what did Saddam actually have? Maybe in his palaces, all those palaces that he had, magnificent palaces. And it's, we'll probably never know, but my guess is it's probably in Langley, Virginia with the CIA. Maybe it's out in New Mexico. I don't know whatever.
Or some billionaire has it in his house.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you find that's very common.
Yes. Are these Stargates a natural phenomenon, or were they engineered by somebody? And if so, whose technology is that?
Where'd they come from, William?
Well, there are natural stargates. Any kind of sacred spot is, by definition, a stargate, where the energy of a star or star system saturates the soil,
and is
or
hooked into
places
another
aligned.
system.
Yeah, like the Giza Plateau, the 3 pyramids aligning with Orion. That's a stargate. And so, if there are those that are engineered, then you have to ask, well, who are the beings that engineered them?
And why?
And why? And personally, I think it would have been the Anunnaki. I mean, I think it goes back deep, deep, deep into human history with these non-physical beings. And the Anunnaki, I believe, were beings that had the ability to phase back and forth between the physical and the non-physical.
Right.
And they're the ones that originally brought the gateway technology. Remember, the place they came from is called the Nibiru, which means the star gate or crossing place. And so then all of their stories, the oldest human stories, Inanna's descent into the underworld. She takes off 7 power objects, her clothing, her Shagura helmet that makes her go far into the universe, her Pala garment, and other objects as she descends through 7 halls or holes to visit her sister, Erich, in the Kur, which could be the core, maybe the galactic core, right? That's the oldest human story. That's called the myth or the monomyth. The next oldest human story is the Epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is told by a goddess he's 2/3 divine, 1/3 human. And if he wants to get through the gate of the gods, the Stargate of the gods, which is all of our goal, he's going to have to clean up his act. 270 is not going to get him through. He's going to have to become 360. So these are the oldest human stories. And what are they about? Going through the gate of the Anunnaki.
Could they be time-traveling tunnels?
Absolutely, without a question. And because, I mean, I mentioned earlier the example of Jesus in the Gnostic Gospels. He shows up in one, the Revelation of the Magi, and tells the 3 Magi, what makes you think this is the first time I've been here? I've been to the future, I've been to the past, I've visited many generations. So there's no question to me that these are Stargate traveling time travelers we're dealing with here.
Yeah, that's fun to travel through one of those. I want to do it too. Let's talk a little bit about these angels. What do you think they really are? Are they mystical? Are they a form of energy? And I think everybody has had an angelic experience where somebody has saved them.
Right.
Perhaps their guardian angel has plucked them out of some demise.
Yeah.
What do you think they are?
I believe that they're non-physical, they're energy beings, and they might even be us. They might even be humans. The book of Hebrews takes you to Christ's throne, his heavenly throne, the heavenly Sion, where you're greeted by angels and just humans made perfect. Well, who are these people?
Yeah.
How did they get to go dwell in this heavenly realm? What made them perfect? Well, what made them perfect is they transformed the human body into its next level of evolution, a non-physical light body form. And all the mystery school teachings tell us that, hey, you can too.
I love to equate mysticism with Hollywood. And the movie City of Angels with Nicolas Cage is so knowing, basically, when you look at these angels having personalities of human beings.
Yeah.
They get upset,
Yeah.
they get happy,
Right.
they get greedy and everything else.
Right.
Do you think that's real?
I do. I think that when you're talking about the Watchers and the Nephilim of the Old Testament, you're talking about non-physical beings that have the capability of taking physicality. That's extraordinary.
It is. It's huge.
Yeah, and then they can phase back into their non-physical being. So, and that's something, again, all of us are alleged to be able to do.
Do you think that world came before the physical world?
I don't know about that. I can't say that for sure. I mean, it's a possibility. But I think that they are kind of they're here to guide us, and they're here to bring us into their tribe, because that would then be our next natural state, traveling the cosmos as these non-physical beings that have the ability to take physicality.
When they talk about fallen angels, what does that mean to you?
Well, these are the beings that were the non-physical beings that took on physical bodies on Earth and had children, offspring with Earth females. Those are the fallen angels.
So we could be related to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
When you talk about Rennes-le-Chateau, it's in France.
Yes.
What's so special about that structure?
Well, there's
What's there?
a lot of mystery there. There's a lot of layers to it. It goes back into vastly ancient times, even to prehistoric times. Seems like people have always been going to this little dot of real estate. It's spectacularly beautiful in the foothills of the Pyrenees, ruggedly primitive kind of country, which really appeals to me. I like going where there's more sheep than people. That's my favorite places. And according to the local lore and tradition and history, it's been a repository of ancient secrets forever. And on top of that, there's also the possibility that there's a portal there that would allow you to travel to other dimensions.
You've been there?
I've been there many times, yes.
Is
Going
there-
back in May.
Is there a special feeling when you go there?
Yeah, it's a feeling. It's somewhat eerie in a sense, but again, it's spectacularly beautiful, so it kind of gives you a comfort level, and you just have a sense that you're in one of the great power places on the Earth, of which they feel like there's around 12 of them, and Rennes-le-Chateau is certainly one of
Is
them.
Egypt one of them?
Definitely.